Thinking of moving to Lake Wales, Florida? Well, let's talk about the pros and cons of living there. Let's get started. Let's start with the cons. First of all, we have very limited access to healthcare. Now, we do have Advent Health, which is great, but it's a smaller hospital, and if you need something more, you're probably going to end up in either Winter Haven or Lakeland. Now, I will tell you this, and if you've watched any of my other videos where I've talked about this, you know kind of what I'm going to say. But my sister-in-law was an EMT for 13 years, and Winter Haven Hospital was her least favorite hospital. When my wife got sick, the first thing she told us was to go to Lakeland. So I'm just going to give you that as kind of my own personal experience. I've heard a lot of bad about Winter Haven Hospital. If you work at Winter Haven Hospital, I'm so sorry. Do better. That's all I can say, because the reputation there is not great. The reputation for Lakeland Regional Hospital is stellar. And if you go further down 27, heading towards I-4, you have Advent Health, which is a much bigger hospital. That hospital I've actually had to go to before, and that's been a fantastic situation for me. So that'll kind of give you a little bit of something to think about when it comes to the healthcare aspects of living in Winter Haven. Now, there are fewer high-end amenities as far as shopping and nightlife than there would be in other towns. Remember, this is a town of about 16,000, 17,000 people, so it's always been kind of a sleepy little town. Besides the Eagle Ridge Mall, there's not a whole lot of big shopping. So if you really wanted to go any place, as far as shopping goes, you're probably going to end up in one of three different places: Winter Haven, Davenport, or Lakeland. Or you're going to end up going down State Road 60 and heading out towards Brandon and Tampa. So you just want to be thinking about that. It's a sleepy town. There's not a whole lot of nightlife either. And so you've got probably a handful of bars and lounges. Some of them have dancing, and there's a couple of them that have bowling. Nice, but they can be, if you're looking for upscale, there's not a whole lot of upscale choices for you as far as nightlife goes. One of the things that has been plaguing Lake Wales for a while now is crime. Now, when you look at crime statistics for Lake Wales, you really want to differentiate between property crime and violent crime. Violent crime is actually, even though it's a little bit above the national average, which, that can be neither here nor there because it depends on what section of Lake Wales that violent crime is hitting. The biggest problem has been property crime. So you've got people that, and this is kind of it's a situation that unfortunately hits all areas of the United States, and that's drugs. So you've got people that are, going out stealing things out of cars, stealing things out of people's yards, breaking into homes. That happens pretty much anywhere where there's where there's drugs. And that's happening in Lake Wales. So a lot of what you read about or what you see online is going to be about property crime, not so much about violent crime, unless you're in those areas where there's a high probability of being involved in some kind of violent crime. So, just take that with a grain of salt. Do your research, but there is property crime. So, if you're going to live in an area in Lake Wales, make sure it's a nice area. Make sure it's an area that's going to be safe for you. And then make sure you take care of your own, be responsible for your own stuff. Don't leave stuff outside. Make sure you lock your vehicle and make sure you lock your home. All the stuff that you would do no matter where you live. If you're really concerned about crime, which some of my customers are, if you're really concerned about crime, one of the things that you can do is you can call the local sheriff's substation, ask for the records department, and give them an address. Let them know that you're thinking about moving to Lake Wales or wherever it is in Central Florida, especially in Polk County. And the records department will be able to give you crime statistics for the past 6 months and all the details of what's been going on within, say, a mile or a half a mile, whatever you decide, around that address. And that's going to help you to determine whether or not that's going to be a safe place for you and your family. So, all right, next up is the opportunities for economic growth are much less in a small town. And so you don't have those opportunities, especially for jobs. If you're looking at living in Lake Wales and working in Lake Wales, there are far less opportunities there than there would be in neighboring communities like Winter Haven, Lakeland, so on and so forth. The one thing to remember about this time that we're living in right now is there are a ton of people out there looking for work, and there are not that many jobs out there. We're seeing that in our own family with my son. He's looking for a job in IT, and he is struggling to find anything that doesn't have, 80 or 90 people that have already gone in and filled out applications. It's an amazing situation right now, and it's not a good amazing situation, let me tell you. So when it comes to those types of opportunities, they're just very few and far between. Let's talk now about the good things, about the pros of living in Lake Wales. Pro number one is you have a lot of scenic beauty. So Lake Wales Ridge sits up at the highest point of the peninsula. And there are a lot of hiking, biking trails. There's wildlife management areas that you can get into. There's a lot of scenic beauty. There's a lot of natural beauty there. And this is a place where if you're looking at getting involved in things like nature photography or hiking, biking, being out in the woods, being out in nature, it's a great place to be. There's also very close by Kissimmee State Park, which we have gone hiking at Kissimmee State Park in years past, and that's really beautiful country. There's a lot of different ecology in Kissimmee State Park, whether it's just basically plains of grass where you just have nothing but fields of grass and the trail running through it, to pine forests, bogs and swamps, all kinds of different, and even like sandy pine hills, all kinds of different ecology that you can kind of like hike through. It's a huge park, and we've got lost there a couple of times because sometimes the trail maps aren't that great, but it was very enjoyable. And so you've got that. You've got Bok Tower Gardens, which is a beautiful gardens in the tower. A lot of people get married in front of Bok Tower. There's concerts there. There's all kinds of stuff. Housing prices in Lake Wales are actually really good. Out of a lot of the places in Polk County, housing prices in Lake Wales and probably Bartow are probably two of the best, where you can find homes well under $300,000, even sometimes brand new homes under $300,000, which is kind of amazing. And you can find really nice homes for under $400,000. And so, the property values, the property prices in Lake Wales are actually really, really good. And it's a great place if you're wanting to be close to Winter Haven, but not in Winter Haven. If you're wanting to be able to commute between, say, I-4 and State Road 60, going up and down 27, really easy to get up and down there. If you're wanting to get into Vero Beach, or if you're wanting to get into Brandon, if you're wanting to get into Davenport or North Tampa, you have a lot of options on, which way to go. Lake Wales has a lot of historic charms. There are brick buildings that were built in the 1900s, very historic buildings in downtown, as well as the areas around downtown. Homes that were built in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and some of them are absolutely fantastic. We've got one that we're going to be listing soon that is absolutely beautiful with hardwood floors, and I'm talking like real wood hardwood floors. Kind of a cottage looking house, about 1,400 square feet. Beautiful, beautiful home. Um, Homes like that are pretty prevalent, and they're actually really good price. The interesting thing about Lake Wales is that it sits equidistant from each coast. So you can literally drive 90 minutes in the eastern direction or the western direction and end up at the coast, whether it's the west coast or the east coast. So you're right in the center of the state practically, equidistant from both coasts. So if you love to go out to Daytona, it's an hour and a half drive. If you love to go out to the beaches in Clearwater or St. Pete, it's an hour and a half drive. That's kind of a plus too, because that's not that far to go if you want to go into those two areas. So overall, Lake Wales has a lot to offer if you're looking for laid back, quiet living. It's not just for retirees, even though there is Lake Ashton, which is a big retirement community that is kind of halfway on Lake Wales side and Winter Haven side. That's a fantastic community if that's what you're looking for. But if you've got a small family and you're looking for really affordable housing, Lake Wales is a great choice. Just don't expect a lot in Lake Wales as far as the things that you may want to go to. So if you want to go to, say a Best Buy, or you want to go to a Target or something like a major store, you may end up having to go someplace else, whether it's Lakeland, Davenport, wherever the case may be. So just be thinking about that. But if you're looking for a nice place to live, someplace that you can call home, and someplace that is actually a really pretty little town, Lake Wales might just be the one for you. If you're thinking about making a move, make sure you let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you. All of my information is in the description below. If you'd like to set up something on my schedule, maybe a Zoom meeting or maybe a coffee date, I would love to do that too. You can just go to talkwithvince.com and get on my schedule, and I'd love to meet with you, whether it's through Zoom or whether it's, up close and personal, having a cup of coffee someplace. That would be fantastic. And we can make a planning meeting to be able to figure out what to do to get you where you want to go here in Central Florida.